calendars. May 8th is the day Germany surrendered. After the Yalta Conference and after America dropped the atomic bomb on Japan, Germany and Japan finally surrendered. America is now left as a superpower within the world. The Potsdam Conference just finished, and it helped the Allied forces decide what should happen to Germany and the rest of Europe.
I cannot wait to see the punishment that they get. Breaking news, we have a new tension occurring between us and the Soviet Union.
Ah yes, the Cold War.
As the second Red Scare is sweeping throughout America and the fear of communism deepens, our disputes with the Soviet Union increase and we are joining the Cold War, the fight against the spread of communism.
So, what exactly is this Cold War all about?
Well, it is a conflict between two belligerents, us, the United States, and the Soviet Union. Let's start with the real reason behind this though. The US and the Soviet Union have had tensions since the Russian Revolution in 1917. Since communism started, the US knew that it was going to be ugly. Since the Soviets wanted to spread communism across the world, the US knew that it had to be stopped.
So the US wanted to contain communism and stop the spread?
Exactly, Shay. Breaking news! The Truman Doctrine just passed and it advocates for the containment of communism by lending support to any country that was ever threatened by communism. Harry Truman issued this document as a result of Soviet pressure on Turkey and Greece.
Hey, kids! It's from Kaiser Foil, a Maverick belt with a secret money pocket.
To get your Maverick belt, send only $1 and this seal from the tuck-in flap of any box of Kaiser Foil.
It's quilted.
It's quilted to wrap stronger and seal tighter, so get Kaiser Foil.
Breaking news! We are entering another war, the Vietnam War.
I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. And for some reason, they're speaking Vietnamese.
This is a conflict in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, and it is being fought between North and South Vietnam. North Vietnam wanted to reunite the country under communism, but South Vietnam fought to stop this.
America is fighting with South Vietnam, and the Soviets are fighting with North Vietnam. We are currently winning.
Yay!
Go America! OMG! More breaking news! The Soviet Union is installing nuclear missiles in Cuba.
Ah yes, the Cuban Missile Crisis. We will update you when we find out more news.
After 13 tense days and many secret negotiations, the Soviets have finally agreed to remove the missiles from Cuba. Thank goodness. OMG, Kylie, guess what just happened?
I heard the Tet Offensive, but I'm so confused as to what it is.
Well, North Vietnam coordinated a series of attacks on more than 100 cities and outposts in South Vietnam, leaving America and South Vietnam on the defense. We are now losing the Vietnam War and pulling some of our troops out. We cannot handle any more losses.
Our involvement in the space race is getting tense as the Soviets previously sent Sputnik into orbit, and our victory was looking impossible to attain. But we just sent a man into space, and they landed on the moon. As Armstrong said,
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
welcome back to Merbastion News. We are beginning our local news segment. Take it away, Shay.
Thank you, Kylie. Recently, American society has undergone a tremendous amount of turmoil. Tensions from both the Cold War and overall spread of communism in countries such as China has led to the Red Scare, a phenomenon in which American citizens are becoming increasingly anti-communist and socialist. This Red Scare has been characterized by trials of expected communist spies such as the Rosenberg couple, accused of giving the Russians information on the atomic bomb, and an overall attack on anyone who is suspected to be radical.
Senator McCarthy of Wisconsin has been fanning the flame of the Red Scare as he claims to have a list of 205 communists within the State Department. Here's some footage of McCarthy today in the Senate.
You're a communist! You're a communist! You're a communist! And you're a communist!
American citizens have expressed much grief over Senator McCarthy's claims, and earlier today, Kylie interviewed a Miss Stacey Rogers for her opinion on the matter.
Hi, I'm here with Stacy, a full-blooded American citizen. Stacy, what are your thoughts on Senator McCarthy's recent revelations?
Well, I'm pretty concerned. What if them darn commies overthrow our great democracy just like they overthrew the Chinese? Well, if that happens, we might as well just all jump ship.
Well put, Stacy. Well put. This Red Scare isn't the only tumultuous movement in society in the past few decades today. We've also seen the rise of civil protest movements, the most prominent being the Civil Rights Movement.
That's right, Kylie. The Civil Rights Movement has played quite a prominent role in society for some time now. Following the end of the World War II, there was an increased demand for equality in all parts of society by African Americans, and the movement really kicked off after the ruling in Supreme Court case Brown versus the Board of Education Topeka, which ruled that Jim Crow's separate but equal was really unequal, specifically in schools.
Following this ruling, African American students in Arkansas tried to attend Little Rock High School but were denied entrance. Here's footage of that.
Can we go to school, please?
No, you can't. He can.
Yeah!
But you guys can.
Can I go? Is it because
No,
I'm black?
get out. No, get out. Close the doors.
Luckily, President Eisenhower sent the National Guard in to escort the children to school, but it is sad that many still refuse to acknowledge rulings regarding equality.
It sure is, Shay. The Civil Rights Movement saw more success in 1956, following the year long after the Montgomery bus boycott ended.
The historic March on Washington in 1963, led by prominent figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., in protest of discrimination and segregation, would, in conjunction with all the other forms of protest the movement took part in, lead to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed segregation and discrimination on the basis of race, sex, religion, and national origin.
You know, if I could just make a decent cup of coffee, I could relax. So, relax. Why don't you try Instant Folgers? Tastes good as fresh perked. I'll surprise Harvey for his birthday tonight.
Hey, great coffee.
It's Instant Folgers.
Instant Folgers taste good as fresh perked.
Hey folks, we will now take a look at the growing pattern of migration that has characterized American society these past few decades.
Right after World War II, the government's implementation of the GI Bill allowed soldiers to get a degree and buy houses with government aid. The growth of quickly constructed Levittown communities on the outskirts of cities, communities now deemed suburbs, were quickly filled with families of newly white-collared and prosperous soldiers' families.
Movement to the suburbs became part of the American dream, and the roles of different family members in the suburbs shifted. Women, who had worked during the war, returned to the home as a cult of domesticity arose, and men became the primary providers.
Of course, this movement to the suburbs did have some consequential effects on society. Levitt towns often had clauses discriminating against minorities, so while whites flew to the suburbs, minorities remained behind in emptying cities.
The government also implemented the Interstate Highway Act, which built highways and interstates across the country. This allowed for easier settlement in areas which had formerly been less populated.
It also allowed American citizens to have more access to higher paying jobs because they could now travel farther distances in order to get to jobs that had higher wages.
Now it's time to get political, folks. Our presidents over the past few decades, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, and Nixon, have all contributed in different ways to our great society.
Democratic President Truman was significant in organizing the close of World War II, helping to organize Potsdam, and also authorizing the use of atomic force in Japan. Truman's main domestic policies fell under his plan of a New Deal. However, the New Deal was mostly unsuccessful.
Republican Eisenhower was extremely popular from the outset, and when elected, he implemented modern republicanism as his domestic policy. Eisenhower also helped broaden the Social Security system, increase minimum wage, and improve society through the creation of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare.
Democratic President Kennedy got off to a rocky start as president when he narrowly avoided extreme conflict during the Cuban Missile Crisis. But when the crisis came to a close, he focused on establishing a Peace Corps, cutting income taxes, implementing civil rights acts, and getting a man on the moon. However, his assassination cut short his ability to bring such goals to fruition. R.I.P.
Kennedy's successor, Johnson, helped to push forward what Kennedy had hoped to achieve, signing the Civil Rights Act in 1964, and focused on creating a great society that was powered by social legislation similar to that of the New Deal era.
Johnson was succeeded by Nixon, who focused on improving and ending international conflicts and relations, although he would resign in the face of impeachment following the Watergate scandal, when Nixon's administration spied on the DNC. The introduction of television and radios in America led to a mass culture change as society began to reform its identity. Americans altered the way they dressed and spoke based off of their favorite characters and radio hosts, which created a more common identity in our country.
For example, Elvis Presley, a famous musician, made the era more progressive as he was known for his sexual dance moves and his combination of black and white music.
Elvis was very controversial due to his explicitness, which also led to the counterculture movement in the 60s.
Man, Elvis sure is fine.
Oh, Shay. Bastion News out! Our program is sponsored by American Flag Heelys.
Go America! Woo! Cut again. Every minute. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay.
What?
Do you mind?
Oh, my bad, my bad.
OMG! 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 Sitting there going,